Mic check 212. It's your boy Jamira here with Wasteman Wano on the Purveyor of All Sounds Underground. Thanks for joining our industry Noize podcast. We are episode 6 today. Lots going on. Thank you for joining us along this ride with the pod. We got a lot of stuff to cut through, and talk about within the industry and just a little bit outside of the industry. You know how we do. We like to talk about life. So why don't we get into it? So again, our homie Wano, the Dusty Ute, your boy. That's me right here in the mix. All right, Juan. So, what's going on, man? How was your week?
Pretty good. I can't complain. A little busy, but that's life. I've been working my ass off, right? We've been getting these videos out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and Andy's help too. Last week was crazy busy. I don't know, man. It's like everyone experiences the same shit at the same time, and then to finish the week out, our premier Dougie Ford,
the dickhead,
Dougie Ford. He's kind of the he's the equivalent of I guess what a governor would be in the U.S.
Yeah.
He just laced us with another 2 weeks of lockdown. But some
did you not see the shit that he did with the police?
Yeah. So.
And you see, police were like, "Nah, we're not doing that shit."
Wow, there's just so much backlash, but they do it already. So I don't know. Like, mean, if you're black, just to give our listeners some context to it, the police here in Ontario, Canada, have been given the right to just randomly stop people because it's lockdown, to just ask them what the purpose of their travel is. Almost like if you're going to the U.S. border, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I mean, from a black perspective, that shit's always been going on. I know, people I've gone to high school with that are police, that work for the police, OPP as well, which is the kind of the equivalent of state police in the U.S.
Yeah, like highway police.
Yeah, like they've been doing that, man. So,
but the OPPs are all dicks. Here's the thing. About it. Police realize, oh fuck, this is really unpopular by a long shot, because in the reality of it, that kind of goes against the whole idea of freedom when you're getting pulled over to see what you're doing, right? Yeah. And people really fucking hate it. Did you not see a protest that happened in Toronto?
No.
So the protest happened the night of that he announced it, and one of my friends from my car group, he goes, "Bro, let's go there. If you get tickets, I'll pay for all your lawyers. I'll pay for everything. Let's just go and protest." Because for him, it's fucked up, because this lockdown is not the way to do it. It's not working. It really isn't. And for someone like him, he's in the construction business. He went from being able to start contracts to only finishing the one that he has. So you know how much money you lose out? It's fucking crazy. Right? And it's affecting everyone's livelihood. From what I heard, is that suicide rates are higher right now than COVID kills.
It's no different than a depressing Christmas every day, right?
It's worse than a depressing Christmas every day, because the news keeps telling us it gets worse and worse and worse, right?
Yeah, and some of that I don't understand. I think a lot of it is, a lot of people are saying it's residual from people running around and doing their Easter festivities regardless. But to go from just a little over 1,000 cases a day to 4,200 cases.
Yeah, but even that's not a lot.
In a day, that's crazy, bro.
Here's the thing. That jump can happen for a million of reasons. My neighbor, who I told you I think last week, who works at an ICU in Brampton, he told me the main thing that they're getting is young people, because they're going out and partying, and the British variant gives them blood clots, right? And I think it's one of those things that, as long as if the restrictions get tighter, it's only gonna get worse because people are gonna wanna rebel against it, especially young people.
I don't know that I don't really see. I don't necessarily see the restrictions as being tighter. I do see them being substantially longer. You're allowed to go out and get essentials and do whatever you
Yeah,
got to
but
do.
you can't even go in and get things that you would want to do at home. You can't fucking go and get a puzzle if you that's what you wanted to do at home.
But you can fucking order it and have it delivered. What's the
Oh,
big deal?
great! Good thing Amazon right now is not flooded. Amazon's crazy right now, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the these lockdowns and restrictions that are getting tighter and tighter is gonna put more people to a boiling point, to a point where, we laugh at all these people that are anti-maskers like Chris Sky, right? But at the end of the day,
I
we're creating more people like that because they're getting to a point where it's like how much is too much, and at one point are you protecting the population and you're not protecting the population, because at this point I don't think we're protecting the population. I think we're killing them off more in suicide than we are in COVID, right?
everything let's everything will be exacerbated in terms of what people are feeling. Um, because of this thing, it highlights the when you start impacting the social components of a person's life or people's lives, it becomes so important to them that they're willing to do whatever, take whatever risk to be able to
To
live that
function.
life.
Yeah, no,
You know,
we need
so hey,
social, being social to
don't
live, right? To be humans. That's what makes us very human.
absolutely.
We're very
So
social
so don't
beings.
get me wrong. I think a number of premiers or governors, politicians are handling this wrong. Doug Ford, he was handling it right
He was killing it,
up
bro, and
till
then he took the L.
up till now, and he made two huge missteps. The first misstep was announcing that, oh, we're going to open up the vaccine protocols to 18 and over without having a robust and comprehensive plan. It's obvious they fucked that one up, right? And they're still trying to figure out how to get that going ASAP. And then the next thing is uh, kind of doing this knee jerk stuff, you know, uh, proposing 2 more weeks of lockdown, along with a law that is seen as Big Brother,
That is Big Brother.
1984 shit. So he's made some serious missteps, and I actually think he could have avoided this additional 2 weeks if he'd formally just said, "Listen, stay at home, no Easter shit. Like,
He
if you're
did.
on the streets, you're gonna get a tick." No, but it wasn't like how they did it for Christmas.
Yeah, no,
You
Christmas is
know,
different.
it wasn't like, it was just like, hey, we're asking you to abstain. Like, there's a difference between, can you please do this, and no, you will not do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it was very much, he just took a softer path.
a
So
pussy
unfortunately,
approach.
we're here right now. 2 more weeks of this shit here in Ontario. I wish we would have gotten our shit together, um, to
Last year.
open up the vaccine stuff earlier. That shit should happen so much earlier.
Man, I'm still so
Um,
iffy on that shit though.
I know you're iffy on the vaccine, but here it is. To talk about our industry. I had a late stream last night, and I was joining the chat group for it, and then I went on Instagram to do some other posts and stuff. And Roland Clark, um, for the past few days, has not only is he COVID positive, but he got pneumonia. He was
Ooh,
diagnosed with pneumonia last night,
that sucks.
and he seems fine, and it looks like he's going to recover. But it's real shit. He knew he had COVID on his post. He said he knew he had COVID for 5 days, because he was just like, and I would have done the same thing. You know, they're only telling you, especially if you live in the States where you got to fucking pay exuberant amounts for
Everything, medical.
healthcare,
Yeah.
especially. He waited it out, took the Tylenol or whatever, chilled out, quarantined himself, and then he said he's as he was feeling better, he's getting up to do some things, and then he was like short-winded. So then they checked him in and said, "No, hey, you got pneumonia." So the shit is real, and I think we're all just very frustrated right now. It's very frustrating to be sitting here and seeing how well the UK has handled it.
Yeah.
They've handled it very well. They're masters with logistics. Um, they're back. They're pretty much back to normal. London yesterday on a weekend, Saturday, like, yo, I saw a post from Blessed Madonna. Everyone out in the streets, no mask, chilling. Parties are being thrown.
Okay,
Yusuf
I think it's
of
time for you and I
Circus.
to fly out there, eh?
Fuck,
There for a bit.
it's just and so when it comes to bring it back to Ontario, that's why this is so frustrating, because it's a logistics issue. It's not an issue of not enough vaccines, not enough manpower and resources. It's a matter of organizing the shit to make it happen.
You can move mountains with little groups. That's the reality of it, man.
I know.
You don't need an army to go ahead and do one task. As long as you have someone that's an expert in logistics planning, whether that's organizing who's the best suited for a task and just distributing them that way, they're going to be more efficient at it, right? But if you just go ahead and grab some random motherfuckers off the ICU that, don't necessarily focus on doing vaccines compared to a dude that, works with needles all day, he's going to fucking do it much more efficiently.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And every minute there that he saves can add, an extra vaccine every 10 minutes.
Absolutely. So it's, I don't know. The whole episode is it's quite frustrating. It is what it is. We're gonna have to get through it, but this is like the boiling point, man, for sure. I know people are just they're fucking losing it now.
I'm fucking losing it in this fucking household, man.
But what does it matter? You really like. You're not anxious to get the vaccine, so
it's not that I'm not anxious to get the vaccine, but it's just one of those things that if people want to do it, that's cool. I know immunity is not going to be much there. Like, if you're lucky in reality with all the variants, you're probably going to get 30% immunity, which is like not even a coin toss. But it's just one of those things that I just wish you would have done a better job earlier, because right now, being stuck inside the house, not being able to even go and buy fucking something I want, it's fucking insane, man. I want my life to be back the way it was before. Right?
But you're not gonna get that unless a certain proportion of the population is vaccinated. Are you?
Or like, there's just better logistics and better lockdowns, better done.
Protocols.
Right? Like, fuck, how long did it take us to close golf courses and basketball courts and tennis courts?
No.
Right. So that
anyway, it is what it is, man. Hopefully, it's 2 weeks. It'll be here and gone.
What do you mean? It's 3 weeks from now.
2 weeks is 3 weeks from now? Huh?
No, they added 2 weeks to the 4-week stay. We were a week and a half in, so we're 4 weeks away.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Instead of 4 weeks, it's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it won't be done until March. Sorry.
May.
Or May, like 25th or some shit like that.
It is what it is, man. We just got to power through this. I hope they get their vaccination shit together. I got shit to do, man.
Bro, we all got shit to do. Shit's killing us.
And I gotta get. I'm definitely decided that I'm gonna do Pfizer. I am not gonna do Pfizer or Moderna.
Moderna here is better.
Well, either one. It's not J&J, which I thought would be okay, but the CDC from last week, they delayed it. At least in the U.S., they said they're putting a pause on the distribution or endorsed use of that drug because of the 6 women who got blood clots after taking it, and one of them unfortunately passed away. So I'm not going to be too quick to get that. I actually had high hopes for that one because it was one shot. One shot, you could store it in your fridge. You're good to go. Yeah. And I like that shit. I love that shit. That's like, when I was, getting immunity or boosting my immunity for, Hep B and stuff when I was about to travel. Well, actually, I did it after my annual physical. It's like 3 shots of that shit, $70 each,
Damn.
and you can keep it in your fridge and just keep track of it, or you can leave it with the pharmacist and they keep track of it for you. Um, I had high hopes for that J&J, but man, it is what it is, man. Um, yeah, so let's move on from this COVID shit, uh, because it's depressing as fuck here. But there's a light at the other end of the tunnel. It's nice to see what's happening in the UK. Israel is another spot where I'm seeing.
Israel's very strict on everything.
Yeah, well, but they did it right. They locked everyone down and said, "Fuck you. If you're not vaccinated, you're not going anywhere."
Yeah, well,
Period.
that, in the airport, if you're Saudi Arabian or from Iran or something, they racially profile you. That's how the airport is the safest in the world.
Yeah, well, listen, I haven't been to Israel. I have a number of Jewish friends and people like who are from Israel who have served in the army, who've done all of that. And listen, I have my differences politically on with Israel on a number of different things, but um, they handled COVID very well.
Yeah.
They handled it very well, and you can't deny that. DJ Dasco, sorry, she was posting some parties up too. Fantastic DJ and producer as well. Uh, and it's great. It's safe, and we just need to get on with it. We need to get to that place.
Yeah.
So Godspeed and some patience. It's really all we can do at this point in time. All right. Yeah. So let's step into some positive stuff. The Arc Music Festival.
I'll
Uh,
pull it up.
Coming in Chicago, September. I think it's the dates of September 4th and 5th. If I'm not misunderstood one. I think those were the dates.
September 4th and 5th. Yep,
Yeah,
Chicago,
I'm
Illinois,
working. I'm working
Union Park.
from memory here. I listen. There's a few things I want to say about this. This festival. First and foremost, great festival. Love the fact that it's happening in the Shy in Chicago. Birthplace of this thing we call house music, electronic music, and Detroit being a short skip away. This is a beautiful fucking lineup. And it's beautiful because it actually represents what a diverse fucking lineup looks like.
Well, I don't know why you're surprised. Chicago, bro.
No, 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 no. So let me finish my point. Um, it is Chicago, and they'd probably be crucified if they didn't have people like Derek Carter, on the bill, or DJ Pierre, who's in Atlanta, on the bill. But my point here is that this really represents a truly diverse fucking lineup, and I hope other promoters take note of this. Like, I actually did the math on this shit. You know, people of color represent about 30% of this lineup that they've announced, and there's more to come, and of course it could change, but diversity goes above and beyond the numbers in my view. This is a festival that has reached back out to the European counterparts and invited people like, Patrick Topping, Eric Prides. And actually, it is the first festival that has booked Eric Prides, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it, under all three of his aliases. Yeah. He's got another alias called Cyrus D and something else, along with his name, booked on all three monikers. Okay, but not only so, it has people of color. They've reached back to Europe, and they've pulled people like Mason Maynard out of the UK, and he's Trinidadian as well. And he will be releasing on Culture, by the way, folks. It's the label I run with Junior Sanchez. But this truly represents the diversity we've all been begging for and talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful. So I would hold this up to anyone if they were to say and ask me like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You know, electronic music. It's all about the peace, love, and no, it isn't, because you could grab another fucking flyer from wherever and see that there's all of these fucking bro house white dudes on the fucking lineup.
Well, right there
And
they
then
have
you look,
Medusa and who else? I see they have very commercial ZHU. They have that.
yeah, and they got Hiroko on there. I mean, she's a Chicago native too. But my point is that this is truly what a diverse fucking lineup looks like, people. And it also pays homage to the hometown that they're in by grabbing some people. I'm a little surprised I didn't see Paul Johnson on there. Maybe he's going to be announced later. I don't want to make any assumptions, but the point stands. If you need a fucking example to look at this flyer to understand what it looks like when you include people of color, when people can actually see themselves in the lineup and be able to support your brands adequately on an ongoing basis. This is what it looks like. I ask anyone to hold this up against any other lineup that they've seen coming out of all these other places. And don't get me wrong, you know, every time I've talked about this or try to have a reasonable conversation with some idiots about this, their first thing is the emotional, uncomfortable reaction. Why are you trying to divide us? I'm not trying to fucking divide you. I'm just pointing out facts, straight facts. And now I have something tangible to hold up in front of you and say, oh, duh, look at the difference. Strive for that. 30 fucking percent people of color on the bill. Love it. I went off there, man, but
I can tell. Little passionate,
you know what I'm saying? No, man, because I'm just so sick of these fucking lineups and no one says shit. Everybody, oh, it's the defected Croatia. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. When it's like 80, 90 fucking percent white dudes on the bill playing black fucking music. Like, give me a break. This is a proper lineup, man, and I hope more people strive for this. You know, it's really wonderful to see. Congrats out to ARC and the people organizing that festival. I would hit a round of applause. Which reminds me, we gotta get that up on the sound bar. You know,
100%,
but
bro, 100%.
you know what I'm saying? It's dope. And I even think the other part, the reason why this excites me as well, one is for, you know, people in your generation to see, whoa, you know, Derek Carter beside,
Fisher.
you know, probably like an Eric Prides or whoever else, you know, from your generation in the lineup. It's wonderful.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Medusa and Fisher being in there.
Well, neither am I. I think if you're gonna throw Fisher on there, you know, throw Chris Lake in the mix.
Also,
like,
did you notice what is it called? Carnage's little brothers are there, the Martinez brothers.
oh wow, little brothers, whatever, bro. Listen, I know they're taking flack for that, but listen, I think the whole thing with Martinez brothers, because I remember some other people in the industry hit me up. Did you see Martinez brothers are hooking up with Carnage? Like, whatever. I don't fucking love Carnage. I don't love his music. You know, it is what it is. But I don't take my time out to troll Homeboy.
Homeboy.
And I think the Martinez brothers were very clear. They said in a tweet that they're actually exploring different ways to you know, to express themselves in house music. You know,
Yeah.
like they done some. It wasn't you once. Someone. Oh, I did an interview earlier this week with an Argentinian magazine. Ironically, it's the same magazine that interviewed Phil Weeks when I sampled him for "To Be a Star."
Oh, really?
And that's why, that's why they hit me up, because they're like, "Yo, we know you guys are doing that remix on Patreon of "To Be a Star" featuring Phil Weeks," and he's like, "I was the guy interviewed. I was the one you sampled. Like, it was his interview, and I didn't even know." So shouts out to Samu on that. So yeah, we're having this conversation, Fuck, I lost my fucking train of thought. Oh God. Uh and you of course weren't listening.
No, we're
Uh,
talking about you because
let's
we
stop
brought up
smoking.
Carnage, obviously, and you
Oh
said
yeah.
your
So yes,
experimentation.
yeah. That's why I was talking. Thank you. It was Samu from Argentina, the journalist, who put me on to this reggaeton track that the Martinez brothers did, um, that coupled electronic music, four to the floor stuff. And I was telling him, well, um, it's not really house, but he's like, yeah, just listen to it because they add some elements that make it more housey. And I'm like, it's reggaeton. Reggaeton is nothing but the dembo beat break from back in the dancehall days. I remember when that song came out. You know, dembo, 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 dembo. Like that was like that's dancehall culture. You know, certain beats would come out or rhythms, whatever, and other people would MC over it. So that that beat spurred a whole culture
Genre, yeah.
or genre, really, reggaeton. So the Marti, I listened to the song, and I'm so sorry I can't remember the name of the song. I was like, yeah, but it still very much sounds like reggaeton. But kudos to them. They're trying to do some different things. They got a Space Jams. They did some Space Jams thing where it was like hip hop stuff. I think I actually sampled one of them for this track I did called "Reading Minds" in Toronto. Um, so you know, I'll never knock people for trying some different shit. There's certain characters I just wouldn't fuck with because of what they stand for, like that commercial EDM shit, and Carnage is part of that, unfortunately.
You know, Carnage is
Oh,
interesting because you know he doesn't produce his own music. The Razor
yeah,
video showed us very well. You remember
yeah,
that? That shit was whack.
yeah. The raising the gain. I don't know what it does, but it just makes everything sound.
More better. Like that guy was retarded there, but you know, it's
But
one of the things where I wouldn't categorize necessarily Carnage as EDM, more towards the dubstep area.
hmm
So it's just because dubstep is a thing of its own, right? It's not trying to want to be house. It's its own
no, it's
thing.
its own thing.
You know what it is? It's like the heavy metal of the EDM world, electronic music world, is what it is.
Yeah,
That's the way I would categorize it, right? That's why for me, I have no hate for someone like Skrillex who realistically focuses on that shit, right?
yeah, it's his shit.
Yeah, you know,
It's
he
it's his shit.
mainstreamed it, right?
Do your thing, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, right. But then
you
comes
know.
Steve Aoki,
Oh fuck.
and
No, you started.
I know you got friends that love that man.
No, no, you started. Junior, Junior's love for listen. They go back, man. They go back to the DJ AM days.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
know.
familiar with DJ AM,
Of course, man.
LA scene, and all of that shit. Like
Yeah,
Steve was a
here's the
real
thing.
Steve.
Steve Aoki only got put on because of his sister.
What? Yeah. Yeah. You know, we've heard you say this before.
Yeah.
One like, you know, he got put on what you're talking. You're referring to Fast and Furious
Too
shit
Fast, Too
or
Furious.
whatever.
Yeah, she was the actress.
I Junior and I have had this conversation many times, and I told Junior straight up, I would never get caught dead in a fucking picture with Steve Aoki. Fuck that guy.
No, no, no.
He's like, he's just made like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how far back you go, how, you know, I don't give a fuck when like what he represents to our cult. Like it is just, it is,
Cancer.
it's blasphemous. It's blasphemous. I put him in that box. So if you're gonna put me in a picture with that motherfucker, no, no
Photoshop you
fucking
out.
way.
Photoshop you out.
Fuck that shit. No fucking way. I don't give a fuck either because these they know, right?
Yeah.
And they know, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the day. Listen, I won't mention names here, but there's been, I know firsthand, people in underground electronic music holding their underground electronic music cred that have done remixes for a motherfucker. And they're like, yo, they got this event going on with Steve. I don't want to be there. I just did the remix for whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So listen, You can't even call me a hater on this one. It is what it is, man.
It is what
No
it
fucking
is.
way. That guy, like, uh, it's it's so sad, because he spurs a whole other generation of confused people that come onto our YouTube channel and want to write fucking essays about our why EDM sucks video and how rude we are being if someone likes commercially. There's a guy, you're gonna love this. I don't know if you saw it. You're gonna love it, but God bless him. His comment was, "Commercial EDM, you should give it a chance because it's such a great concert experience."
Oh, I'm sorry. What? I don't know about you,
Like
but
like pyromaniacs do not make bad music sound better.
yeah, no. I'm sorry, man. But the motherfucker running the Grand Dame and controlling the lights is not gonna change how the music sounds. If it's crap, it's crap. Like I've
Right.
been at Ultra. I know the difference between when Marshmallow was playing and when Carl Cox was playing. The vibe was so crazy.
Right. And even Chippy represented, right? You're telling me that's the same one, Ultra.
Yeah. Chippy was
Yeah.
so fucking good, man. It sucked
Yeah.
that he was the first one because I wanted to, because I came a little bit like 30 minutes late, right? Because I was just exploring the place, and it sucks that I missed his whole set. But his set when I joined in, man, oh, the vibe was just fucking crazy.
anyways, fuck that. I would if you saw me in a picture with Steve Aoki, y'all would be like, "What the
You
fuck?"
look like he on crack.
You guys would be like, "What the fuck is Demir on today? He's on some crack shit." Fuck that guy. Anyway, Arc Festival proper, doing it well. Did you get a chance to look at Pioneers?
Oh, yeah, I have it right here.
Article
Let me post it up right now. Oh, what the fuck that is?
on music harmonics.
With our main
man,
what's his fucking name? I forgot.
Dave Guetta.
That fucker, yeah. The dude that was high off
actually
acid at Tomorrowland. Remember that video? Him looking like a retard. Oh, hold on. Let me pull up the video real quick for the motherfuckers that don't know.
Oh shit.
Get
I was actually surprised people went in on David Guetta on that one, given the article was about music harmonics, right? Mixing in key and shit. Because I can testify that I have the 3000s, and I definitely am mixing more in key, and it's just a really nice feature to have. It also points out to me that I've already been doing a lot of this all the while. Like some of the songs, like without that functionality, I would be doing it some of the time, or it would be a couple of keys close to the root key of whatever song was playing. So I think it's great to validate that thing, but a few of the comments were, and I think there's validity in this, is do not get fixed on that functionality. Take chances, like go step outside of the key, mix that a cappella in that might be 3 keys out, and I also think it's good for air. Fuck, the amount of music I still hear that's out of key, oh my god, it's atrocious. It's like, and it's so inexcusable because we have technology that tells you to fucking key.
Yeah, we do.
You know what I'm saying?
Even our DJ software tells us. Fucking CDJs will tell you right there, right?
So that's why I'm saying I think the mixing and harmonics thing, what Pioneer has delivered in terms of firmware functionality on the CDJ 3000s, it's great for that. It's beautiful for that. You know what? Actually, not to take us too far off topic, I need to fucking figure out what's going on with my V10 mixer and my my other CDJ 3000. So on the V10, when you have the fader up, it automatically changes the platter to red if they're all linked up.
Of course.
Right? It's not doing that on my one deck.
Is the
So
one
it's
deck
doing it
connected properly or no?
well, I don't know. I'm gonna have a look at the I guess the Ethernet cable, but it shouldn't matter. It's like it's the main deck that I plug the one USB in,
So here's the thing.
and
You have to select what number deck that is on the CDJ.
but it's all selected. Like they all have a deck assigned.
Yeah, but are they the exact same deck assigned as the fader?
Ah, that's it.
That's the
I gotta make
difference.
it. I
I know
gotta
because
make
I
it
had
deck
that
six.
problem one time and I did it on my CDJs too.
Ah, thanks, bro. See, you're not that waste after all, man. Yes, big up one, man. Big it up. All right, I'll do that. I'll let you know. So, okay, so you got the article up.
Which one?
The mixing in harmonics. You're gonna bring up the David Guetta. Sorry,
The Facebook
the
post.
Tomorrowland acid trip.
Oh, I showed the video.
Oh, you already showed it. Okay, so this article, it swiftly turned into let's demolish David Guetta,
Oh,
and
yeah, I'm reading the comments for it, brother. Crazy. He said,
it's crazy.
as soon as I read David Guetta's name, he lost me. He's one of the comments.
Yeah, yeah, that was the one. I was like, man, that's too bad. But that's the kind of shit that happens when when we're talking about this commercial EDM stuff and motherfuckers get high off of their own ego. And I'm
literally
sad,
high off other drugs.
and I'm sad to say it. Like David Guetta is one of those guys. He's one of those guys, man. Like some of just the comments, like, underground. We did that video and we clipped it one, and I think the comment was something like there's not enough energy in the underground to power like a fucking festival. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? And he sees himself as the arbiter to take the underground stuff and bring it to a level that could power commercial festivals. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Bro, Ibiza
like,
runs on underground.
it's exactly. And maybe he meant, well, like, listen, early David Guetta, who mixing on 3-4 vinyl decks, rocking it in Ibiza, wicked. And you could tell, like, he was really about the music. Like, I think, like, people always, well, not always, but some people make the observation it's always underground people hating on commercial people and not the other way around. Well, there's two reasons for that, and I'll give you the first reason. The first reason being is underground people just they simply keep it real, okay, and they know what good shit versus bad shit is.
Yeah.
The second reason is commercial EDM guys can't shit on the underground because that's where the root is.
Yeah, exactly.
They know that's
you
where
can't hate
it is.
on an OG. You just can't.
You can't fucking show up and say I'm in commercial EDM and my shit is better than all of this shit put together. And mind you, it does come across that way when people like David Guetta say there's not enough in the underground to power a commercial field or whatever. Like, it's like, bro,
who the fuck are you, guy? Like,
who the fuck are you, bro? Like, and you
I
look
didn't
at
know
a
this motherfucker ran a festival to know that inside knowledge, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the two complete reasons on that one. And I'll always champion David Guetta, early Steve Angelo, all those guys, like when they were like really in it for the music itself before big superstar DJ bullshit and egos and marketing started pervading, the whole shit. And then they started thinking they're better than the music itself. That's where they fuck up.
Yeah.
That's where they fuck. And that's the other piece. You'll never see anybody in underground do that shit. They always pay homage to the music, and people in the music scene who pay homage to the music itself, even if they're beefing with them, you'll never see anybody in the underground say I'm better than the fucking music.
No, I think this even goes to hip hop too. I mean, look at someone like DaBaby.
Yeah.
DaBaby pays respect to the greatest artist of all time, and he still makes a little bit of different music, right?
Absolutely. And right. I think that's one of the key ingredients why Daft Punk always did well. You know,
Yeah.
so it's all about that. So you know, once these guys step outside of that and start cake smashing and doing all that bullshit that has nothing to do with the fucking music, you know, get the fuck out of my face.
Some white trash people partying, you know.
You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So mixing in key, that's hey, I think it's a great functionality. It's unfortunate most of the argument went over to focusing on Guetta. Do you have one like you don't have the 3000s, but you have the 2000s, right?
The 2000 Nexus 2s, three of them.
Nexus 2s, right?
Yeah.
Do you so do you mix in key or you just know your music?
I just know my music. It's one of
Yeah.
those things where, and I know you and I've had this conversation before, but you say I don't listen to the music I make or house music in the car because that's for the club. But for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I'm always listening to it, so I know it. This is gonna vibe. This is not gonna work, right? It's one of those things where when you listen to something so much, you can know everything about it without needing to read a screen. Right? You're like, oh, right
Mm,
here comes the build up. Right here, we're gonna go for an 8-beat loop. Blah, blah, blah. You just recognize it, right? All the
right.
songs that I have on my CDJ, I have on my iPad and on my phone, so I can play them in the car, right? Today, we're
Mm,
maybe me and Juan might go on a drive to Niagara, and I'm bring my little DDJ 200 so I can mix in the car. Cause you know that's a
right.
vibe, right? When you're just chilling with
Yeah.
your boys in the car, playing some music.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right, so that's what we
That's
do.
pretty
I have
cool.
my iPad and everything, and we just fucking mix in the DDJ 200.
Pass the aux cord, yo.
Oh, don't get me started on that fucking story.
All right. So that that's our festival and mixing and key discussion. Yeah. So it is what you make of it. I think with the technology, there's so much advantages today, but it really comes down to execution and how you're using the shit for sure. Um, just to move over to something else, just more in light of you know the things that have been going on, and I really hate having to have these conversations about more unarmed people of color, um, you know, getting shot, abused, killed, whatever by the police. You got Dante Wright, um, who was killed by an officer who happens to be a union leader, right? Uh, who decided to shoot him with a gun instead of a taser, and then came back and said, "Oh, I didn't know the difference," and then to go through this week and see other officers, not even officers of color, like we're talking about white officers, who show a demonstration of how different it is. Um, even what's the what's that Christian guy's name? Pat. I can't remember his last name, but he runs an extensive Christian network. Came out and actually said, "Yeah, enough's enough. This is weird shit. That's a really bad excuse. How could you
That's
not?"
an awful fucking excuse. That's like, let me talk a little bit about this because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
usually I'm very vocal on these kinds of topics, and to me the way I see it is, how fucking retarded do you have to be to grab a metal gun instead of a plastic taser? Like, this man must have one fucking working brain cell. It's like me grabbing my iPhone and goes, "This is iPad."
Well, she has working one. Like, it, bro. It's crazy to me. Like, if you think about it, the amount of hours spent, even if I think on average it takes what 4 months to become a cop in the U.S.
Yeah, it's
on
very
average,
short. Here's like 2 years.
2 years, and even in Europe, I think you got to have a degree of some sort,
Yeah, yeah,
and their whole thing is about de-escalation. So I don't know, U.S., you got to get your shit together on this one. It's
bro,
it's
it's
just
so stupid.
it's like shit's being captured on video that doesn't even matter anymore.
No,
Now you're throwing out lame ass fucking excuses. Oh, I thought it was my dominant firearm, and then you have your colleagues contradicting what you're saying.
yeah, because your
I'm just
dominant firearm is always your gun. Your non-dominant
right.
is always your taser. Juan, who's going to the military, already knows that.
So so this leads to my point on there being deeper issues here in the U.S. when it comes to policing and their relationships with black people or people of color. She operated purely out of fear.
Yeah, that's not how you're supposed to be a
There's
cop.
there's just no there's and there is nothing there to be worried about. Like you're a fucking police officer. You have so many fucking options
Yeah,
available to you. You know, and it's always the same shit in the states, and it's so disheartening. They they never opt for de-escalation, and I'm not speaking on behalf of all cops.
no.
Like I don't want to come across that way. I know people who are police officers. It's just when you have these situations like the Dante Wright, the Adam Toledo piece in Chicago recently, where the kid had his hands up and mix of adrenaline and an officer probably being pissed off because they had to chase the kid.
We'll talk about that one in a
Yeah,
second.
we'll talk about that some more. But I guess all I'm saying here is we have so many examples of officers operating purely based out of fear when dealing with black people and having to make the wrong decisions time and time again, and then have their organizations protect them for making those bad decisions.
Yeah,
Like listen, I never thought I would see a black president in the US in my lifetime, and I got to say that this is now at a point where they're really playing with fire now. Like, black people, they're starting to fucking lose it. And we're starting to get organized and get some shit done. Like that fucking army dude who was harassing that kid. I don't know
oh
if you've
yeah,
seen the video
yeah.
one.
I've seen
He's
it. Yeah.
he's telling the kid who lived in the area. Where is it? I can't remember. I don't want to be wrong in the
Yeah.
location, but I'm pretty sure you can find a video online. Army guy harassing black kid. Google it. Um, the kid lived in the area, and because um, he had his wife, because I believe it was his wife who was filming the video, thinking that they were in the right, um, because he believed the kid did some shit. He was going off on the kid, and the kid was like, "Yo, I live here." He should have just dropped it as a grown ass man.
Yeah, I know.
So
It's fucking stupid.
he actually pushed the kid around a bit, and it's and so I know seeing that I was like, "Yo, this is bullshit." And of course, and I knew it was gonna happen. They started showing up at his house.
Yeah.
They arrested him, by the way,
Good.
for third degree uh,
Assault.
uh, assault or something. But they arrested him, and people are just camped out at his fucking house saying, "Yo, you want to push somebody around? Come and talk to us, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Like it's get like, and I'm just trying to underscore here that all of this operates out of people who are not aware of their racism, acting out of fear. And it's like, what the fuck are you scared about? Like, what are you acting out on? I don't want to have a conversation with that army dude and the officer who shot Dante Wright. And just say, like, if you had to do it over again, would you do the same shit? And what would you do differently? What have you learned from the situation? You know, because you look at this shit and you're just like, what the fuck? How does this shit happen and continue to happen? And we have George Floyd, that trial happening. That fucking coward uh, pleaded the fifth because he knows.
Yeah.
He knows. So let's talk about Adam Toledo out in
Before
Chicago.
that,
This is
I want to show you the new taser I got it. You like it? See the triggers here. You hold it very easily. It weighs about the
yes,
same,
I
so it
can
should be
fuck
the
it.
same, right?
This guy's holding up a fucking F1 steering wheel simulator,
Nah, bro. Do you
whatever.
not like my new gun? Look at this. They weigh about the same,
Yeah,
right? Fucking
your
retarded.
bucket. Your bucket.
The Adam Toledo. It's just one of those things where, at the end of the day, the way I saw it was, did they find the firearm residue on him? Yes. The cop
On who?
on Adam.
The kid?
Yeah, they found him.
Yeah.
So he did shoot. Okay. The cop immediately after he fired.
Sorry, wait, pause there. You're saying he shot during the chase? Like, put some context around that. When did he shoot?
So they had reports of a shooting. Okay.
Right.
From what I had read was Adam supposedly dumped a gun somewhere. And then
no, it's in the clip.
What? No, he didn't have a gun. He wasn't holding the gun.
Okay, we'll come back. No, finish your point. We can come back to that. I don't want to disrupt you.
So what happened was the police were responding to a gunshot, right? To multiple gunshots. I believe it was 8. In the video, you see that there was someone walking, and the cop actually pushes them to the ground. I can't remember if that was just some bystander that they put to the ground just in case of safety, right? Because if you watch the whole clip, right, Adam is like going as hard as possible. He's running. He like The cop is yelling, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" The kid's not stopping. Okay.
Right.
As the cop said, "Stop! Turn around!" Blah blah. The kid, after a couple of seconds, then finally turns around really quickly. And I think the cop's just instinct reaction is, if someone just goes like this, whips around, that's fear for your life. The cop, I can tell, had no intention of killing him. He really didn't. Because immediately after he got shot, in all the videos, you'll see the cop goes and starts applying pressure to the wound to make sure he's alive. Right? He calls an ambulance to make sure that he doesn't die. Right? So I think the cop didn't have any intention of actually killing him. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah, I
watch the videos. There's a security cam video.
No, I did watch the video. And I think it offers up like 3 different angles.
Yeah.
Or 4 actually, because they show there's a shot, the parking lot shot that shows him. He's being chased. He goes up to a fence that has sort of an opening.
Yeah.
As he's turning around, he dropped the firearm behind the fence, and there's a moment where you can actually freeze frame it. He has both hands up. There's no weapon in his hand. So I'm not going to argue with you about intention, because neither of us really know, and
we don't know,
and it'd be pure ignorance on my part, at least, for me to say this is what the officer.
No, I'm saying I believe that was the intentions. I don't say that word.
No. I'm but as I'm making my point, I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. So, so I just see it this way. Cops get really pissed off if they got to chase you, or if you take too long to pull over to what you believe is a safe, time and place to pull over, which can vary from person to person. This kid was 13 years old, probably fucking scared as fuck because he knew he was doing something illegal. He has an illegal firearm on him, likely. He was 13 years old.
And they did find the gun residue, so.
Oh yeah, I know. But so this all resonates around it. That's why it comes back to my point on. I don't think it would be fair for me to even comment on. Here's what I think the officer's intention was. I can only talk about the facts, and to me, video is factual. Yeah. He had both hands up. Lots of adrenaline going on. I don't know if I'm an officer, and we've all played first-person games and stuff. We've done that shit accidentally.
We panic and then
panic and you shot and you're like, oh, I'm stupid. But it's a fucking video game. This is real life. So he had a moment to say, should I shoot to protect myself? And I don't know. I do think there are options when the kid sort of slowed down. I don't know if the officer was in a bulletproof vest or whatever. I can't tell you. Most of them, it's Chicago. Most of them have that. And I know this is easy for me to say, so don't hate me as I say it. But if you do, I don't give a fuck anyway. You had options as an officer. In my opinion, you had options when you could have stopped, said, "Hey, put your hands where I can see them." And that's the thing, when you see these stops too, after they're chasing somebody and they're so pissed off from having to chase the person and adrenaline's running, you're out of breath, and you're saying they repeatedly say these things because they're trained to say it. Show your hands, and even though the hands are being shown, they say it over and over again to, one, protect themselves and the public, and secondly, to make sure their message is being heard and being heard clearly. So I don't know. My interpretation is that he shot purely out of adrenaline, and I'm not going to say he intended to kill because I don't know what his intentions were, but I do think he made a bad call. He just made a bad decision, shot him reactively, and realized the mistake. And in his training, I did what he was supposed to do: try and save the life.
Yeah. A lot of times we've seen people or cops that don't even attempt that. They don't even care.
Oh no. Just like in the Dante Wright.
Yeah.
That is a perfect fucking example of ignorance and fear meeting itself all in the same destination, as well as, it reminds me of the case where the off-duty officer, I think there's an apartment complex.
Yeah.
That she lived in. She went into the
Taylor.
wrong fucking unit.
Taylor.
It's like, what the fuck? Fuck those guys, man.
Yeah.
Half of your mistakes are based purely on fear. Adam Toledo is a dicey one, but I think
I think this is multi-layered, right?
I just think he made a bad decision. He made a bad decision to shoot immediately. Period.
Yeah.
You could say whatever, like, unless there's video that shows, or is his body, if there's a body cam video that shows the kid turning around and firing, and he had, like,
in the training,
you can say whatever. He has
training,
gun residue on
I've spoken to officers here in Canada, and they said, if there's an active shooting and you've been identified and then you run, they said, we're not trained to shoot you in the leg or prevent you. Our training is to kill you. And that's what I've been told by officers. Right. They said the reason why is, if let's say they are the shooter, for all you know, what can happen next? You don't, right? They can go ahead and kill someone else. They can kill you. They can kill your partner, right? If you've been identified and then you're running from the police, it's obvious you are doing something really bad from running from the police.
Right.
Right? So their training, I think, if anything, he probably followed his training. Again, I don't know their training where he is. But it's one of those things where I don't think it was racially profiled because the kid is Mexican, right? And,
well,
it's dark out. The kid is Mexican. He's wearing black on black on black. Right? It was one of those things that I don't think that was a racially profiled shooting.
So was Trayvon. He was in a fucking hoodie. My point is I think in those situations, cops are making a lot of their decisions, especially coupled with the fact that their training says shoot to kill. They're making a lot of their decisions operated in fear.
Yeah.
You take that same scenario and you do it in Coral fucking Gables in Florida, where you're surrounded by $1 million houses. They wouldn't do the same shit. It's a fact. They would not do the same shit. So
okay, here's the thing, and I think there's a very interesting point with that. What you just said is, you always have to remember the rich don't play by the same rules as you and me.
It's not about me. I'm talking. So I'm not talking about. Let me just put that in a little bit. I'm talking about just the environment. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm that's what I'm saying.
And I know the rich buy whatever, but it doesn't. I guess my point is we're talking about. You could take the same cop with the same type of training, drop them in the same scenario in a different environment, and you'd have a very different outcome.
Yeah.
And that's where it's wrong.
It's
wrong.
It's wrong, but it's just one of those things that it all has to do with the context of everything, right? I don't know if the kid ended up shooting someone directly or not. I didn't see that. I don't think he did. But I think I'm thinking like, what if I was an officer? That's the way I'm trying to put it. I'm trying to put myself in his shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I can. I guess I don't want to sympathize because I know people will be like, "Oh, you're sympath," but I would just kind of say, the way I would see it is, if I'm chasing someone down that's running away from me as hard as they can, that
Yep.
has a gun, and then I say stop, and I keep yelling and yelling, and they still don't stop until we're almost at the end of the street, and then they turn around full speed. That's one of those things where I know I would do the same thing because
Yeah,
I
I
would
just
panic.
I have to disagree with you.
You would do it differently.
I just yeah, I feel very
You're
differently. I'm
chasing
an
someone with a
officer.
gun, and
I'm chasing someone who has a firearm, and that's where I said it's adrenaline mixed with fear that spurs these decisions. It's not a function uh, of a cop's first inclination. Um, really should be, hey, I need to stop this situation. And you just said it. They're trained to kill in those
yeah,
scenarios.
and that's
So
what you're yeah.
change the fucking change the training. You know
So
what I mean?
then in that case,
That's
then
why I
the real
gave you.
problems with the training, not necessarily with the individual officers, because that's what they're taught,
I'm not.
right?
No, well, it's what the officer represents. I don't even know the officer's name. I'm not here to say go after his fucking family. I'm
No,
saying as the institution, um,
it's an
you are an
institutional problem, not
officer.
necessarily an
You're
individual problem in this case.
you're an officer. You're an army dude. You're a fucking uh, you know, some person of authority. Your training needs to fucking change because a lot of you operate in a position of fear and shoot to kill.
Yeah,
You know, and that and and the alarming part is this is what's not in the training. One, what's not in the training is if it's a white person, you don't shoot to kill. There's video of white men in their trucks with firearms, and a cop sees him with a firearm, and they're fucking tussling and turning and trying to disarm the guy, and the guy has a fucking gun in his hand,
yeah,
and they're not shooting. So this is
yeah. And
this
then,
is the
but
piece
that
where I just
also
say
goes back
sorry.
to what you said is locational difference, right?
Locate, but this is on the side of a highway. Uh, fucking, it's not super rich area or whatever. My point is that they consciously, they being officers, people who are in a position to execute on the law, bring with them their own personal fears and biases. And I know, yes, it's a given, but enough's enough.
Yeah,
Sorry, Adam
I don't know
Toledo
if that
is
necessarily
another
applies to the
example.
situation. I know it applies to way too many other situations. I don't know if it applies necessarily to Adam Toledo. I've seen photos of the kid. I mean, I would have confused him for white, to be honest. That's the thing.
I don't know,
But
uh,
I don't think this was again. In my
I'm
opinion,
not holding up Adam Toledo as
a racially profiled thing.
a racially
And I don't
motivated,
want people to start
officer thing.
thinking based on what I'm saying
I'm
that I
holding it up as people in law enforcement operate under fear.
yeah
Their first thing isn't to de-escalate the thing. It's you just said it. It's to shoot to kill. And when you take those same principles, uh, it and applied in different areas of the world, based on that officer's perception, you get a very different outcome.
yeah.
And that's just unfortunate. Um, anyways, listen, we we fucking we fucking killed that uh, moment, and it is what it is. So rest in peace to those victims of police murders and unfortunate circumstances. Uh, wish all family and friends the best and positive outcome in their lives and that, and hopefully it changes. But it has to change. Like it's getting to that point when you see people pull up, and they did the same thing. The woman who shot Dante Wright, they fucking barricaded her house, bro. Like I'm talking like like on the highway,
Yeah,
you see those big cement pillars and
yeah,
blocks when they're using construction.
yeah.
They
Of
put
course.
that shit around her house with fences because like people ain't having it. They ain't having it. there was a time only 50 years ago where they didn't have to do that. They weren't scared about that shit. But now, oh man, it's a different time.
Yeah.
Anyways, J Lo and A Rod split.
Smooth transition. Smooth transition.
J Lo and
That
A
was
Rod
butter
split.
guy.
You like that, huh?
That's funny.
They split up. I wonder what she did to cause that. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Yo, no, he's a high valued man. He was just exploring his options.
He's a high valued man. And speaking of which, that podcast came out on the Joe Budden Network Friday. I watched it. I actually went on his Patreon and paid my due to watch that interview. It was good.
Did he? Wait, he had one with Kevin Samuels?
Yeah.
Because I know Kevin Samuels did one with Adam 22 on the No Jumper podcast.
Yeah. You watched
No
actually,
Jumper?
you know, yeah, I know No Jump. Who? So you know what? I feel like No Jumper is just like TMZ in a way for hip hop specifically.
I guess
And one of the things that fuck, what's his name? Man, I'm having a hard time remembering anything today. Fuck, what's his name? Dude from Atlanta.
Kenny?
Actor. No, not Kenny Beats. Light skinned dude. Anyway. What's his name, man? You know, I confuse his name because his Instagram handle is different than T.I. Yeah, T.I.
Oh, T.I., okay.
Yeah. He made a comment and it resonated with me so much. Like he said this, I want to say a couple of years ago. He's like, TMZ is there to exploit the black man's downfall. And so when I look at No Jumper, I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
you want me to give you a quick rundown on who he is?
Yeah, just give me the rundown, because really all I see is I've seen a couple of the shows and they're funny. Some of it's funny, but others are just like.
So I'll start it. Adam 22. He was very much into the BMX skateboarding scene.
Yeah.
Right. So he started a store called On Some Shit. I've actually visited. I have a sticker on my bike for that. Right. The store's called On Some Shit. And the whole thing was he was always there to represent the underground culture of hip hop, coming up artists, and just, you know, that BMX and all that scene, right? Because a lot of times that's a scene that's very misrepresented or underrepresented amongst a lot of different outlets, right? Right.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are just trying to have fun. The media portrays us as criminals, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get harassed for it just for having a fucking bike. So Adam 22 actually helped start the come up of the clout rap era. He was very influential in that, right? And you know, he helped artists like I don't know if you heard of like Lil Xan, Lil Peep, and all those.
Yeah.
Adam would help a lot of people like that, right?
Got it. Okay.
Probably. So hold on. So No Jumper was his brand for, let's say, music videos or podcasts or all that, right? So that's what No Jumper is. It's a sub company of On Some Shit, right? Yeah. So even whenever he had always says, you know, he pays his respects to the black culture because that's the reason that No Jumper exists right now, right? So even, you know, remember TK, the rapper? He's a rapper. He killed 3 people. You know, he did nothing wrong. But even Adam 22 was helping fund his legal fund.
I think I got it now. I got the connection now. I just didn't understand, like why, because some of the guests he has on there, right? It's highlighting beefs. It's talking about stuff, but maybe that's his way of bringing clarity.
Hip hop. It's hip hop, right? It's just.
Oh, I know, but it's like, so.
So you know, okay, so sorry, you're confusing the podcast with his news, because he has No Jumper News where he talks about like TMZ style, and then he has a podcast which is just sitting down with stars and talking about different shit.
But I kind of see the same. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I kind of see it as a similar experience from what I've seen. I'm just greenlighting here, and I'm just like, okay, there's a difference between support and then like we just keep highlighting all of these negative things, you know. So whatever. I'll listen. I'm not gonna pass judgment. I'm just making an observation.
Yeah.
You know, and it is what it is. It's hip hop. You know, some of that shit is largely brought on by
What's that
the
guy's?
people involved in that scene. And I mean, I think he had chromas on there, and I just said,
He
you
had
know,
chromas, right? What did you call it? The
yeah,
Scary West or whatever.
it's like whatever, man.
You ever
So
heard of that rapper named Russ?
no,
So there's this rapper named Russ, right? And he always thought he was top shit because he would have like a shit ton of security.
hmm
And then Adam22 called him a pussy on the podcast, right? Because the dude started a beef with another guy. The guy was solo. This dude pulled up with 8 security guards to beat the shit out of him. So he goes, Russ, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're a fucking pussy. I beat the shit out of you. Well, this man was getting
oh,
his mani
shit.
patty done, right? Because he's all about that, you know.
He's getting his Matty
Yeah, yeah.
Petty done.
Russ sends one of his guys in to fucking hit him in the head. And he goes, what the fuck was that? It's just some random shit. And then Russ is showing off about it later. And he goes, nah, bro, you're a fucking bitch, man. You sent another guy to do your dirty work because you're a pussy.
Yeah, no. That's props. You know,
You look like he on crack.
I can respect that.
Bro, Adam
That
22
response.
is fucking... That dude is... He's a very interesting character. Have you seen his girl?
Yeah, like he's had his girl on there and some of her friends who are on OnlyFans and shit.
Yeah. One time he did a
Like, I
vlog
don't know,
immediately
like-
after having a threesome.
I'm sorry.
One day he did a vlog immediately as he was doing a threesome with his girl and a porn star. Like, that man is like the new Charlie Sheen. Let's be real.
He's the new Charlie Sheen.
In terms of how dope his life is, yeah.
All right, listen. Let's move on.
Also, big
Let's
shout out
move
to
on.
him. He had a kid
I
not
was
too
making
long
an
ago.
observation. I was making an observation, and lo and behold, it's Juan's boy. So that's cool. Yeah. So J Lo A Rod split. You know, apparently the news on the street is that he, you know, he found the next thing. That's, you know,
You know, to be honest,
got
I
a
didn't
little-
know who the fuck A-Rod was till I watched, he has these vlogs, right? Because one day...
you don't know A Rod.
No. You
Dude,
know how I
he-
found out who he was? So, one day I was just chilling at home and I was like, I wonder what content, and I'm going to hate when I say this, Porsche uploads to their YouTube channel. And they have a little playlist for other people. And it was the day that he bought her a convertible one, 911, right? And I was like, who the fuck
J-Lo a
is this
convertible?
A-Rod? Who the fuck? Like, I knew who Jay Leno was. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's why I found out who he was.
Homie. That's the homie, man. High value man exercising his options. You know, what do you want to say? It is what it is. It's unfortunate, man. So Godspeed to them. Hopefully they recover.
Hopefully we can link up J-Lo.
You're hilarious. You know, there's also that just to switch gears here. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that, the What Happened to Tech House documentary by
No, I haven't.
Resident Advisor. So here's the thing, man. Tech House, I think Resident Advisor was well intentioned in this, but you can't tell a story in 10 minutes.
No.
You just can't. And it did open up my eyes to a few things, though, like, you know, how the music was being received in the UK in its early days, and it was more of a stripped down thing versus the I would say more American sound
More
with
complex.
the more percussion and tribally, you know, that's when I happened upon tech house around, you know, 2007 2008, and the South Americans already got their hands on it, and to me they were developing much more interesting music.
You know, sorry
so-
to interrupt, but the thing I want to comment on why I think that would be is because in South America, especially technology, we're so limited on everything that I think we're forced to get creative with what little things we have, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it in, like, today with Andre Salmon and Cricket's sound. Like, I've been talking about these guys for a while, from a minimal tech to a tech house perspective. They're crushing it, man. they have such, and then you look at Andre's studio, it's nothing
Crazy.
grandiose. It's
It's
nothing like,
it's just a culture thing, right? We grew up with not the craziest of setups, right? And we work with whatever we got, right?
yeah.
Even for me,
No, so it's, I feel you on that.
for me, my setup may look expensive and all that, but when it gets down to it, it's no more expensive than a Mac Pro. It's cheaper by a lot, right? And the reason,
Well,
why,
that's a function that you're cheap. Like you're
you know,
North
it's a
America.
function of
You're
culture.
cheap.
Is you try to get the most for your money because you know it's
Fair enough.
limited, right? So for
Fair enough.
me, that's why with the for a while I had very limited hardware. Even my laptop was very cheap. It cost me like $600, right? I was editing the videos on that and I was working my ass off to get everything done, right? And it's just you when there's a will, there's a way, and I think Latin America really shows that on a whole nother level because we are willing to work our asses off on whatever shit thing we have to make sure it's the best it can be with what tools we're given.
Yeah. No, no, for sure. I think that resonates with a lot of different places too. Like I sometimes think about my first studio setup when I was getting into things, and it was a Casio keyboard,
I think
with
that kind of
four
environment kind of
seconds,
resonates with the black culture, right?
you
Especially
know.
a lot of times with low income housing and low income in general. It's one of those things that we can agree on. That is a lot of times your parents don't have the money to go ahead and buy a fucking Mac, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And it's just you know, doing the best with what you got, and that spurs, I think, different levels of creativity. But not to digress too far. So this documentary, I watched it, and eh, it was okay. Like Resident Advisor, man, I don't know. I remember there was a time, I'd say around 2013, when I just returned to music in 2010, and Resident Advisor was the number one place for all things
It was the hub.
related to, yeah, underground electronic music, festivals and tickets and all of that, and news and stuff. And I say kudos to them for being the first to recognize that, well, we started this DJ of the year thing, and it just turned into this egotistical PR thing, that was only promoting, white dudes, and they stopped it, and they said because it went away from
It's
what they were
purpose.
trying to achieve. So I hope they get back to that. Um, just some of the stuff I see, it just doesn't really resonate with me, and I've seen some other posts as well, from other people kind of saying the same things, like, so I hope they get back to it with, the docu-series stuff that they're putting forward.
You know,
you
um,
know
did you ever watch the Insta DJ by Pioneer DJ?
yes,
That was
yes,
really well done. That
that
was
was
like an
well done.
hour long too. Um,
That was very well done. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I think they need to take some pointers from Pioneer DJ because
Maybe.
Pioneer DJ. Here's the thing: they know the target market more. I would say because obviously
Mhm.
they're the ones that they're the ones that sell the equipment, so they know who the fuck is buying it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they kind of understood the. They had a more, from what you're telling me, I haven't watched this, so I don't want to make assumptions, but it seems like they were more focused with their documentary and had more content that they just spread out better.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
10 minutes to explain what happened to Tech House seems very fucking short. Considering I watched an hour long, no, I think it was 2 hour long documentary on house music alone.
yeah, and I think, and that was a lot of what resonated in a number of different posts on that documentary, is just like, it's a little short but sweet documentary, and maybe they're just trying to play with maintaining people's attention span. I think when it comes to music and you're describing the history of music, you just have, you have to give it its due. you know.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can just never compress it into a few minutes. But I did learn some stuff like about the UK scene and its relationship with tech house. Kevin Saunderson's the significance of his record, because I've never say Kevin Saunderson is a tech house dude. I always attribute him to, techno, and Big Fun, all that, you know,
Yeah.
those timeless records he's made. So, but anyway, I encourage people go check it out. Hopefully for next episode we have a guest up in the mix with us.
Yep.
We unpacked a lot today.
Yeah.
And again,
Hold on.
massive
One thing I
shouts
wanted
out
to say,
festivals.
was
Yo,
if you want better short mini, let's say docs or informational videos about music that are really good, have you ever seen the Vox ones?
Vox, VOX?
Yeah.
No.
They make it's very short and sweet, and it mainly is to kind of give you the highlights, and it's obvious for the highlights. So they had the devil in music, and they talked about the history of that, right? Or they had the history of house music, right? And it was it highlighted the just kind of main points of how house music kind of got formed. And they talked a lot about how it started in Chicago and all that, and they do a lot of good research. I gotta say, they're talking about Black Box right on time, right?
That's cool.
So if anything, check those out.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information out there, even from more independent, smaller
YouTube
avenues. You just got to go dig for it and find it. But yeah, just in terms of our next episode, hopefully we get a guest on. I sent the request out, and I'm looking forward to doing that, having some people on here. And for those of you that are not already familiar with my Patreon, you can get in contact there, and you'll have more exclusive content. As we have guests on this pod, we will be making that available exclusively on the Patreon platform. And the other thing we did on Patreon too is the In the Mix series.
Yeah.
As well as exclusive music for I think it's like a $3 US tier a month. We already had some people buy into it, subscribe for the year, because they get it. So check it out if you want to get that exclusive music. I just posted another track that I won't be selling anywhere else, and the mix I think I'll post probably towards the end of the month for y'all. Sorry, Juan, you were gonna say something.
If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys check out patreon.com/DemirOfficial, where we also have the Demir Phil Weeks Remix Contest. The contest deadline is May 14th, and you guys will be remixing the song To Be a Star. Again,
download
the patreon.com/DemirOfficial, where you guys have to sign up for the all access tier, and you guys will be getting all the stems and everything you guys need.
Word up. And as well, we are 9 people away from the Korg Volca bass giveaway.
Indeed, yeah.
So we're going to give that away once we hit 150 patrons. It's going to be super dope. I'm excited to see who gets it. It's packed and ready to go. And the other thing that's really cool and crazy about that comes from a Discord member out of our community who made the suggestions. So that's how much people believe in this stuff. So get at us on my Discord. You'll find the invitation link below if you're watching this on YouTube, or just Google it and it should come up online if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast.
Nope.
I think that's it. Let me take us out with some music. What are you going to do with the rest of your day, bro?
We're going to go check out the car for Sonia.
Oh, shit. Yeah. She's
going crazy. She's going crazy.
You let Sonya know that's dope. Best of luck with that.
Yeah, we're probably also going to watch F1 Drive to Survive.
Yeah, dope show. I finished that 3rd season. I binge watched. I didn't even realize I binge watched it in a couple of days, man. So it's crazy.
It's crazy good.
Yeah, it's really good. That, you know, the production value on that, man, is well filmed and edited.
Insanely hot.
Stories they tell. Mad dope. Anyway, yeah, Juan, I'll send you this mix. This is an oldie
Yeah, man.
from
Good.
2018 from my residency on data transmission, which is now, it was more techy then too. It's playing more, this is tech house to me,
I know. I love it.
you know. But now my residency is on Maximum Radio via Radio FG in France. That aired yesterday. And again, those episodes you can get on my Patreon because we will be posting them on SoundCloud.
All right.
Anyways, all right, man. Peace out. Much love and respect to you. Later. Peace out, yo. Have a great week. Smash it in whatever you do.